So this weekend we've been doing Western games. My voice sounds like this because I've been screaming like a madman, or cheering like a madman rather. We planted just after the rain soaked corn into all of these patches. So this morning we are moving dead branches and things like that to the fence around the property to make them more productive. Now we were expecting loads more rain, so somebody said soaked corn, we should plant soaked corn, and so I made a whole bucket full of soaked corn 2 days in a row, planted it, and no rain came. Well, little bits of rain. You can see there's a little bit of, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but a little bit of a rain track, little bit of drops. The problem with corn is once it gets wet, and if it doesn't stay wet, I believe it will die. So I believe all of this corn has died. Now, Steve said that we shouldn't do a monocrop and that corn doesn't work in our area. Now, I think it's because of the previous footage, but this is more of what we are doing. This is what the veld looks like at some spaces. There's still some grasses left. There's a berry bush, there's thorn trees, there's an invasive thorn tree, all sorts. This is some native plant that I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's not necessarily a grass. So this is definitely not a monocrop. Plus, if you don't remove all of these new little growthy thingies and the weeds and things that's coming out now, then you're not going to get a monocrop, and that's what we're aiming for. We just wanted to add some place where new seed can rest from the grasses, and we wanted to get some how can you say, something to grow, some roots in the ground, easy to grow, biomass developing. If it grows, if we can get it to grow once we get enough rain, obviously, that would be great. And if it doesn't produce a crop, that's okay. Then we've added loads and loads of biomass for very cheap. If it does produce a crop, then we feed our animals and our people for the years to come. But monocropping, this definitely isn't. The state of the swale, we had loads and loads of water pressure issues. So further down the swale, we couldn't get water in the drip lines. We had about a week, 2 weeks now of water pressure issues. We even thought about adding a pressure pump, spending the money, adding water tanks and the pressure pump and so on. And then the guys selling the pressure pumps told us there's no way we're gonna run that on solar. So, state of the swale. All the grass species has come out. On that side there's more pumpkin species as well, ground cover species, but they're not doing as well as the beginning of the drip line. In the beginning of the drip line, this is what we see, loads and loads of pumpkin species taking over. This is I keep on forgetting the name. I'll tell you now in the comments. And then below everything, there's hundreds of little moringa trees being protected but growing steadily. Hundreds of them, might even be thousands of little moringa trees growing. So this is quite something. We wanted to get roots in the ground to protect the swale. I think it's working fantastically. The grass species are doing really well. See there, all of that's moringas. Moringa, 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 moringa. That's about how far we planted them from one another. So in just this little spot, there's now 6 that I showed you. 7, 8. Let's check down here if there's anything here. 7, 8 there. So you can imagine if there's 8 in that area alone, how many moringas do we have on this on this soil. So I see the sun is quite bad. Right, so the other thing that we're going to do this morning is I'm going to have Lucas and Emmanuel dig one zai pit. One zai pit isn't a lot, but my office guys have been taking annual leave, so I'll probably have to use Lucas and Emmanuel to come and help me at the office. We need to move some construction equipment around and so forth. Look at all of this new growth coming out here. Now, the difference between what's going to happen on my land and the neighbor's land is, first of all, I still have some of this left, where many of them don't have any of this left, of the old grasses. But the other thing is we're going to have this grow. We're not going to put animals on it right away. And that will make all of the difference. If I allow it to grow up and then cut it down and not remove this from the ground, the next year I will have again. If however I have the sheep eat this now, they might kill it, and the termites will finish the rest. So just delegating when what must be eaten will also make a big difference. At this time of the year we start wondering what we should do with our lives. I'm thinking I should maybe have a New Year's resolution of making 300 zai pits next year. I think that would be a wonderful idea. Boy, even in the river, grasses here, they are starting to grow in between the little pits that we built last week. There's some things going. Let me just show the guys quickly where to plant and then I'll start the camera again. Okay, so this is going to be our zai pit for today. We're digging it in a brick pattern or a fish scale pattern with these previous ones. And then we'll add probably 1 year for the fish scale patterns and 1 day for the fish scale patterns. People said, would it not work better if we planted grasses in these areas of the river, in the washes? And grass is the solution to almost everything in our climate. I believe, in any case, to all erosion. I think I would do wonderfully with it in the river. It's a wonderful capture tool. So that's why we're not removing any of the local grasses, but there's a lot of spaces where it's very difficult to water on our land. And so watering these areas and having something established here is quite a story. It's the same with these zai pits. These zai pits are not in a water area. They will become, in brackets, useless zai pits for the first year or two until we have a watering system that will work here. We'll probably just throw some grass seeds in there and hope it will work. But for now, they will become useless zai pits. And then we'll have to add them in the next pits as well, so that we don't remove any of the local plants. I would prefer even this invasive thorn tree here. I would prefer not removing it because it still produces biomass. It does want to live, and so I'll build the zai pits around them so we don't kill any grass, any local bushes. Seems like a strange thing, just to save one little plant you move a whole structure, but here they really are that valuable. Here, for instance, we have this thing. Now, this doesn't look like life, but give it 2 weeks, this will become very lively. I told Lucas to dig around it, leave it in the ground, don't dig it out when we dig the zai pit here. In today's video I also want to play a different game in the comments. I want you to, when you comment, number your comment, the amount of comments there is. So if there's no comments, you number is number 1 and then number 2 and so on. Then when I reply to your comment, I'll reply again with the number that I am when I reply, and we check what the difference is. I think that could be quite cool comment game. I work for comments, obviously. And then so the other thing that I had 2 suggestions on that I thought was an interesting thing to do is to take a field like this, for instance, and add with an auger loads, like a couple hundred little holes, like you would dig for a pole. And then some said you should add biomass, others said just leave it open. And I'm really tempted to do something like that. The only problem with that is the danger level. If you have any sort of animals, if a horse escapes, for instance, and he runs into a veld like this, it's over scadovers. It's like a minefield. Children, you'll have to educate them and warn them, and maybe even put thorn branches around it so that they know that this is a danger area. Hundreds of little holes, all of them disguised. As soon as things start growing, that could be a dangerous thing to do. But it is a very intriguing idea, and I'm really thinking about how I can do something like that. I think it might be a structure that's not commonly used in permaculture. Well, I've never seen it before, and something that I really would like to see the results, like 100 little 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter little zipets, but seriously deep, like 70-80 centimeters deep, 3 foot deep. And obviously you make the bund on top, you make it like it so it captures water. That could be quite something cool. I think that's the end of my story today. Remember to subscribe, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.